Previously on Alan Wake. I'm hunted by the law.
Sheriff, Wake's running. I'm giving chase.
Are you seriously telling me that writer just took out my deputies?
A thriller I supposedly wrote is coming true. The genre of the story seems to be shifting. It's turning into a horror story. I was told that Alice had been kidnapped, but that was a lie.
We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is.
Her purported kidnapper was eaten up by the dark presence before it attacked me.
Alan, shh, baby. It was just a nightmare.
Alice.
There you go, Alan.
Hartman. I fell.
I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period.
What?
Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now. The shock of your wife's death triggered a mental illness.
No, you lying.
You're suffering from various symptoms of undifferentiated schizophrenia.
Bastard.
It's okay, Alan. Just let go.
I felt groggy. Whatever Hartman had bumped in me was making me numb. I felt like this was happening to someone else. Someone I was watching on television. I couldn't think. Couldn't focus. There were only empty sheets of paper here. No manuscript pages.
Well, we're out of that lake at least. But this next section is going to have a lot of dialogue, so get ready for some heavy exposition.
Good evening, Alan. Are we feeling better now? Feeling calm?
Yeah. I see you brought your pet gorilla with you. So sure, I'm calm. I get the message. Loud and clear.
Quite right. That's the spirit. You're being very brave, Alan. I understand you're confused. I would be more concerned if you weren't suspicious of me. I don't blame you for it.
Big of you.
Now, why don't you come with me? We'll reacquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten. Little walk and some fresh air? Yes, it will do you good. This corridor is for patients. Most of them aren't here right now. Jack took them out for a fishing trip, except for the ones who are particularly vulnerable, of course. I encourage creativity as a part of the recovery process here at Cauldron Lake Lodge. I specialize in treating artists.
I bet you do.
Splendid, Alan. I honestly believe we can get this thing under control if we work together. This way, Alan.
Now, before we follow him down the hall, we can actually turn around and go into Emerson's room. And he's actually pretty into video games, and we'll see why later, but you can actually see a Death Rally poster on his wall, and that's actually an early Remedy game. So it's a neat little Easter egg, along with the Night Springs video game adaptation, which is just an in-universe thing, but it's pretty neat to see, as well as this drawing of something. It looks like a level design, but I'm not too sure what it's from. But it's neat that they added those things in if you just explore around the place a bit.
Now, Alan, from past experience with you, I know I need to get right into the heart of the matter as quickly as I can after an episode. So I'm just going to say this. Alice is dead.
No.
You're in a very vulnerable state until you understand and accept this. Alice drowned, and you couldn't face that. You're suffering from hallucinations, paranoid delusions, unusual thinking, an obsession about light and darkness, a feeling that everything revolves around you, your thoughts and dreams. Your mind has constructed an elaborate fantasy scenario in which your writings are affecting reality. She has been kidnapped, and supernatural forces of darkness are trying to stop you. We go this way, Alan.
I wasn't ready for another shot, so I went along with it. He had to be lying. But under the influence of the drug he had given me, I had to fight not to believe his words.
It's all in your head. You've been making it up. Apart from the tragic accident with your wife, no one has been killed. Your delusions are just a manifestation of your subconscious mind trying to protect you from the too painful truth. Unless we fight the fantasy, it will return. I know the instinct is to resist me, but think about it. Doesn't this make far more sense than the insane supernatural conspiracy you have concocted in your mind? You're a skeptic by nature, Alan. We both know this. Everything can be explained logically.
Before we follow him all the way over to the edge there, which will initiate the rest of this conversation, you can actually head over here and read the sign on this sundial. Dedicated to TZ. I wonder who that could be. You know, the only one with those initials in this game so far? Or ever?
I never get tired of this view. Very inspiring, isn't it?
Cauldron Lake spread below us. I could see Mirror Peak on the other side of the lake. I thought I could make out the spot where Diver's Isle had been when I arrived with Alice. Now there was nothing but waves.
It seems there's a storm coming. Funny, I don't recall there being a mention of that in the weather forecast. Well, no matter. This way. Follow me. Alan, what I'm telling you is good news. Right now we're in control. Every time you have a relapse, it gets more and more difficult to resurface from the dark depths of your imagination. Not surprising, considering your profession. Imagination is what you work with. After all your nightmares, this should come as an immense relief to you. If it doesn't, why is that? Because I'm lying? Or because you don't want to admit that you're not well? It's very natural for you to think of me as your enemy. It's part of the illness.
I let him talk.
After all,
Hartman
I'm the one
obviously
trying
loved
to
his
bring
own
you
voice.
out of the world
His
you've
words echoed
constructed for
madly
yourself.
inside my head.
But I can't
I dug
do
my
it
nails
by
into the
myself.
palms of my hands to stay
You
focused.
need to work with me. Once you accept that, we can begin the journey towards your recovery. Come along. Let's go inside. Here's the entrance to the office wing. That's for staff only. You were impressed by my trophies when you first arrived here. I do love to hunt. The great outdoors, man versus nature. It's wonderful stuff.
Pretty damn wonderful, yeah.
Scary, scary, scary.
Emerson.
I'm a real bad dream, mister. You should be afraid of me. Don't want to run into me in the night, that's for sure.
Please, Emerson. Mr. Wake is confused enough as it is.
Yeah, you'd like me to go away so you won't be scared. But you can't just decide what kind of dream you have or when you have it.
Emerson.
Okay, sorry. Boo.
That's Emerson. We're actually making some progress with him, I'm happy to say. He works on video
Elbow
games.
strike. Ooh,
It's
yeah.
trash, of course, but it does involve
Get
some
him to the head.
small creative effort, which makes him receptive to my therapeutic methods.
No kidding.
Well, you heard it from the doctor. Video games are trash.
Come, Alan, this way.
No, I'm good. Right over here. Actually, away from this lady. And out the door.
Oh, hello. I've painted you.
Okay.
I was just struck by inspiration a couple of days ago. Dr. Hartman wanted me to paint landscapes, and that's what I was doing. But now I've been doing these things, a lot of them. The images just keep coming. Dr. Hartman likes them. He has them in his office.
Yeah?
He's very proud of me. He says I'm getting much better. I think I'm getting better. Well, I guess I'd better start wrapping this up. The storm is almost here. Look at that. I'd hate to be out there tonight.
Yeah, because it's going to be so much better to be in the same building as the rest of these crazy people. I guess you gotta pick your battles, huh? Oh well. Before we move on, we do have a couple collectibles, so we can pick up that thermos and read this sign. And now that we've got those collectibles out of the way, why don't we go over to Dr. Hartman and see what he wants.
Now, you might have noticed the typewriter in your room. You've been writing as a part of the therapy. As soon as you feel up to it, you should continue.
My rheumatism's killing me. There's a storm coming. Oh, what a storm.
I hope it wipes this place off the face of the earth.
And these two are the Anderson brothers, Odin and Tor. They had how should I put this? A heavy metal band in the 70s and 80s called Old Gods of Asgard. They even adopted new first names to complete the image of Viking gods. After the band broke up, they lived on a farm nearby. They are, well, in advanced stages of dementia. They're well cared for, TLC and all that. There's nothing more that can be done. I'm afraid that the rock and roll lifestyle has left its mark.
Oh, that won't do. I'm so sorry to cut this short for now, Alan. The power has been acting up. I'd better go check on it. We'll continue this soon. Meanwhile, when you feel up to it, return to your room and try to write. It really is for the best. Don't you think?
I'd like to bash his head in with a hammer.
Oh, he'd love to fish out our secrets, but he has no clue. He's not crazy enough. Not crazy like us, Sonny.
Yeah!
Being crazy's a requirement, Sonny. Who else could understand the world when it's like this? It takes crazy to know crazy.
That's the sanest thing I've heard in a while.
Zane! You're all right, Tom. Hey, we like him, don't we, bro? He's got to go to the farm.
The Anderson Farm. Valhalla!
We wrote it all down, lest we'd forget. A crash course. All you need to know to get your head right. You need to find the message.
Here, Sonny, here's something for you. Gave me a rash, but I kept it safe from these bastards.
My head was clearing up, or according to Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Tom, you got any booze on you?
Yeah, no. Sorry,
We have a
guys.
stash of the special stuff at the farm. Our own formula. Local ingredients. Medicine clears your head right up. Makes you remember like moonbeams on the brain.
Oh, I just noticed. Leather patches on the elbows? That's not very rock and roll.
Tom just lost is all. Baba Yaga got to him too, the damn witch.
She used us all. Taken from all of us. Took my thunder, the witch.
And my ravens, what were they? Memory and thought, the hag.
She took something from you too, didn't she? That's what she does.
We're better off. This place, the lake, it gives you power. If you're a creator, an artist, a god.
Nightmare shifted in their sleep in the darkness of the lake.
Yeah, that's the one. She makes sure it comes out twisted and wrong. Just ask the lamp lady. She knows what happened to that other writer.
She's been using you, boy. And you let her. You went and opened the door for her, didn't you?
Now, it was already open a crack. And whose fault is that? We're morally corrupt, disease-ridden, old and stupid.
Doesn't mean he had to open it all the way, goddammit.
So tired. Built the farm close to the lake. A place of power.
Well, it's starting to seem like this is less of a place to help artists out with their creativity, and more like a small-time insane asylum, where the crazy people here aren't that violent, but they're just sort of nuts. At least the old guys seem to know what's going on with the whole darkness at the bottom of the lake. They, along with Zane, I guess tried to harness the power, and really suffered for it, because Zane is some, like, dream ghost person. And those two are, well, nuts. But we can't really do anything while we're here, so I guess we just play along and try to go back to our room for now.
Yeah, good thing he's not overreacting or anything.
Well, he's the boss.
I may need a hand here later on, Birch. The storm's bound to make you-know-who jumpy. You know how they get.
Gotcha. The doc's got me looking after Wake here, but holler if they get too rowdy.
I'll do that, Birch.
Hey, Wake, why don't you humor Dr. Hartman and give the writing a shot, huh? Typewriter's in your room. You can get to your room by those stairs, Wake.
Actually, let's go check on you-know-who to see how he's handling this storm.
You can't wake up. You can't hurt a nightmare because all dreams are only imagination. They're only in your head, and they're not there when you wake up. So you can't wake up because I'm in charge now, and I don't want to disappear. My nightmare is the publisher people who want to make a contribution so they can say they made a contribution, and then we end up with mullets in there because they think mullets are funny, but it wasn't supposed to be about mullets, and now it's about mullets. And when it's in slow motion, they call it mullet time because the numbers
Hartman wanted me to write. I knew I couldn't, but I figured I should just play along for now. It was the only thing I could do with Nurse Birch watching me like a hawk.
Serial killers with straight faces and smiles. My nightmare is the writers who want to make everything from the characters to the toasters talk all the time and express their feelings so they won't shut up, and the writers won't shut up either because they have feelings too, and I have to listen to them because they're not scared of me, and everyone should just shut up. But I don't see nightmares anymore because I'm too scary for them. I take 2 pills every morning and 1 with every meal and 4 when I go to bed. And that makes me the scariest nightmare of all.
Okay, I think that's enough crazy for right now. Let's just get out of here, see what we can do upstairs. Because there is nothing going on down there.
Something's wrong. I'm not myself. It's hard to think that there's a shadow inside my head. I can only focus on writing. Everything else is a blur. I'm trapped in this cabin. Have been for days, but it's always dark outside. My editor is real. I saw her again. She's not human. It's not human. A dark presence is wearing the old woman's face. She was covered in clinging shadows. There's a hole in her chest where her heart should be. I think I've made a horrible mistake. I don't think I'm any closer to saving Alice. It's been lying to me, using me to get the story it wants, and the story will come true.
So, it turns out the darkness is bad, which is really the same message we've gotten from the last 5 videos. Okay, so, TV's off, thermos is collected. This time, for real, we're going back to our room.
The white glare of the blank page in front of me hurt my eyes. My hands began to shake uncontrollably.
Everybody calm down. Put that down. Bert, I need help.
Hey, Wake, you stay here. I'm gonna go see what's up. You just keep doing what you're doing. Be cool, okay?
I didn't know what the chaos was all about, but it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
Where the hell did he get a damn hammer?
I don't know.
Here's a friendly poke from Mjolnir, wench!
Oh, afraid of the crazy brothers, are ya? Not so weak now, are we?
Well, here's something we haven't seen in a while. This QR code just leads to a GIF of the head writer, Sam Lake, making a silly face. A familiar, but silly face.
It's my storm. I'm taking it.
Sinclair looked bad. That wasn't a love tap. The crazy old fart hit her hard. If she was one of Hartman's goons, she had it coming. I could get the key to the office wing from Sinclair. I had to get to Hartman's office. He had taken all my manuscript pages. That's where he'd been keeping them.
It's time to pay the piper.
Maybe you could come out and beat our wrinkled adult diapered asses for us. Since you're so tough.
The markings on the tape said they were recordings Hartman had made at the sessions with his patients. I saw Alice's name on one of them. For a moment, I couldn't breathe right.
Now, Mrs. Wake, can you tell me about Alan's problems?
He's more and more out of control all the time. The parties, he's so angry all the time. He's getting violent.
Do you mean with you?
No, not with me. No, never. Sometimes I almost wish Alan would take a swing at me, because at least that lead to a conversation he couldn't just march out of. But no. Alan doesn't really sleep. And the work, well, he's not writing at all. He sits there for hours and just gets more and more frustrated. And I can't talk to him.
Yes. Tell me, Mrs. Wake. What would you say to him if he'd listen?
I don't know. I want to say, I look at you, and it's not you. Just some stranger who resembles you. Looking out from behind your eyes, and I don't like that guy much. And now it's all gonna go to hell.
But you don't ever say this.
No. I've tried, but he's not listening. He's too deep in his own problems, always going on about something else. I'm so afraid I'm gonna lose him, and we're not even talking anymore. He doesn't let me in anymore. He just keeps me in the dark. I'm so alone here, even when he's home. Please help me, Doctor, because I'm at my wit's end.
Well, if you can just get him here, I'll absolutely do my very best.
Yeah, but Doctor, you need to be careful with him. He's not just going to listen to you and cooperate. He's the most stubborn man I've ever met.
Well, I'll be sure to bear that in mind.
Hearing her voice, what she was saying made me happy and sick and guilty all at once. Worst of all, I recognized the words. The phone call from her. It had been a cut-up of this. Just a recording.
Rudolph Lane's case is interesting. He was completely blocked, and frankly, I was about to discard him as useless. However, once Wake arrived and started writing, something changed in Rudolph. He's producing extraordinary work, increasingly dark pieces. Unfortunately, he doesn't respond to direction at all, and it's my belief that he's not so much a creator as an illustrator, perhaps, a recorder of sorts. I hadn't considered the existence of such a role before, let alone its implications, but the paintings he has produced are informative. At least he's easily controlled and useful. I wish I could say the same about Wake. It's frustrating that the best subjects are always so damn difficult to deal with.
I'm buying that. I was tailing Wheeler, and this is the only place he could have gone. That means Wake is probably there too!
Agent Nightingale, this is private property, and I will not allow you to disturb my patients.
Yeah? I can get a warrant. How would your fragile little patients like that?
Oh, I'm thoroughly intimidated by your mighty authority now, Agent.
Listen, you smug snob. How would you like it if I busted through this gate and knocked you around a little?
Agent Nightingale, first of all, I'm recording this conversation, so you might want to watch what you say. Secondly, you're not dealing with a hick now. I know the law, and if you can get a judge to grant a warrant, I'll be glad to cooperate. but you won't get one. Be advised that any further communications with me are to be made through my lawyer.
I don't believe this.
Good day, Agent.
Yeah.
Well, at least someone put Nightingale in his place. Too bad it had to be the other asshole. But these paintings are both good and, kind of freaky, all at the same time. Especially this one. But let's not dwell on these for too long. We've got to get out of here.
The photo on the wall caught my attention. In it, the clinic staff was standing outside the lodge. I knew the man next to Hartman. He was the kidnapper. Hartman had been playing me all along.
Let me out of here! Hartman, do you hear me?
We're actually just gonna wait to let Barry out of that room, because it's a lot better to just listen to him yell at nothing.
Seriously, do you have any idea how much trouble you're in? I am famous. I represent a celebrity. They'll be looking for me. Oh, that's how you want to play it? Is that how you want to play it? Really? Okay, that's how we'll play it. It'll be hardball all the way, jerk. Seriously, man, I'm willing to forget the whole thing if you let me out now. Just let me out! Hey, you think I can't hear you out there? I hear you just fine. What, is this how you get your kicks, Hartman? I knew you were weird. You got that weird guy look. If you're one of those nurses, I'll double what he's paying you, okay? Do you have any idea how much I make as an agent of a best-selling writer? A lot. Is a personal check good?
Okay, now, I think he's had enough.
Barry?
Ow! About time!
Barry! Man, am I glad to see you. We need to get to Hartman's office.
It's right next door.
You okay?
Yeah. I mean, no! The cops found me at Rose's trailer, but they didn't hassle me too much. I'm obviously a victim in this, and I demanded to be treated as such. Or else I'd sue their asses. Speaking of asses, that Fed gave me a real hard time, but I had no clue where you were. That guy's crazy, Al. But he let me go, and then I get a call from Hartman, that son of a bitch, who tells me you're here, and I should come pick you up, but when I got here, 2 goons clobbered me and stuck me in there.
What's with the cutout?
I stole it from the diner to piss off Rose after what she did to us. That'll teach her.
Yeah, that's a harsh punishment. Come on, pal, we gotta get going.
These were all the pages I had on me. And more.
Alan, please. You're sliding back into the...
Tell me one more lie and I'll shoot you in the face.
Ah, well, it was worth a shot. Really, Wake, come on. Let's work together on this. You have no idea...
Hartman, shut up! Barry, get out of here. I'll catch up with you. Get a car.
Oh, Al, let's just...
Go!
Wake, listen to me. This is a mistake. Don't you see? Together we can create something absolutely wonderful. With your ability and mine.
Find a way out.
So yeah, like he just said, the darkness is now invading the lodge, so we need to get out of here ASAP.
I need light to get the possessed bookshelves out of my way.
Well, there was that old generator up on the 2nd floor, so let's go see if that works. Now, you can run this light over and over until it gets rid of all the objects that are kind of circling the middle of the floor there, but the light will just stay on until the bookshelves on the other end disappear, so once those are gone, you can just book it. Even if you do get hit like that. So that way is no good. Guess we gotta try through here. And even though the only light source you get is a flare, if it doesn't work, you can always go back into the other room and another flare will appear. And now for the worst TV ever.
Want access to thousands of applications? Verizon Wireless has you covered. Check out the latest games. Discover new music and old favorites. Social networking, sports scores, news. It's all at your fingertips. No matter what you're into, Verizon Wireless can satisfy your never-ending appetite for apps. Check out VCast apps and load up your phone.
So yeah, I think product placement has finally hit a new low for there to be 2 direct ads straight in the game like that. Well, there's nothing quite like that, quite so egregious in the rest of the game, but I guess they had to get their money in somewhere. So after that ball gets the door open, you kind of have to get past the ball. So you just run down here into the little alcove if it comes after you again, and then just sprint past it. But you can't go too far because we need it to come back down. Because the door to get out is locked, and the only way to get through it is to bust it open. Right like that.
Ow! I'm here!
Well, we're finally outside, but it doesn't look like we can just walk out that front gate. So let's get this thermos and see what Barry's up to.
Hey, come on! You gotta get going!
But first, in the middle of the courtyard is a giant statue of what looks like a diving ball, sort of caught in something.
I found the car, but the gate's locked. You're gonna have to go through the hedge maze over there.
Barry, I don't have a light.
Take this, Al! Oh, God! Look at the house, Al! Look out!
Now, fighting these pillars is completely optional, and they're each gonna come up and try to attack. But I'd rather fight them than wait by the next obstacle and just get clipped from behind and killed. Because we won't be able to just walk right out of this courtyard. Luckily, the last one got stuck behind the statue, so it didn't come and hit us.
Come on, Al! We gotta go! It's not much of a maze! I made it through easy!
And this is the obstacle I was talking about. You have to wait here while the gate disappears. And you really don't want those pillars sneaking up behind you. It's kind of a nasty surprise.
Let's get out of here!
Well, now we've got some flares for the maze, so let's get started. The maze really isn't that big or complicated. There aren't really any branching paths, but you do need to watch out for enemies that can sneak up behind you. Just like this guy over here. Thankfully, he wasn't a big enemy, but if they sneak up on you, it's gonna hurt. There are a couple collectibles hidden throughout the maze. Well, we can't trust him now because he's dead. There are a couple collectibles just manuscript pages. They're really not hidden, and since the maze isn't very big at all, missing them is kind of a hard thing to do. I can certainly hear them coming. The problem is not seeing them. Now would be a good time to use a flare, but there's enough space to back up to get away from all the enemies that you don't need to worry about getting trapped in a corner. If you do get trapped in a corner, that's why they give you the flares in the beginning. But for what's coming up in just a bit, you're gonna need as much flares and as much ammo, as much battery, really everything, because it's kind of a huge pain. And this is the second and last collectible in the maze. Like I said, really, really hard to miss. And yeah, here's the end of the maze right here. So it didn't take us long at all.
We don't want any fighting. It makes people sad.
But it sounds like we've got some company coming up. And this is why I wanted to prep with everything possible.
Pills in the morning, and then you'll be nice and calm all day long. You get 3 girls in the evening. And then you sleep like a baby.
So it looks like Hartman's little helper is back, and this time he's out to kill. Now, using flares is a must here, because not only is he going to be attacking you, but they're going to be birds. Constantly birds. And they will interrupt everything that you try to do. By himself, he can be really, really tough. Just getting the darkness away from him takes much longer than it really should. And he takes about 12 or so shots to finally take down. So you want to get him down as quickly as possible, then head into this gazebo, and then just kind of hide out from the birds. It's not a perfect strategy, because they can still kind of come in and get you, but you have better cover, and they can't come in straight from above, so you know generally where they're going to come from. And since we can't really get rid of all of them, we're just going to try and get out of here as quickly as possible. And just kind of hope that they don't follow. Because we have even more company. Well, the strategy here is the same as it was before. Once he gets up close, just back up. It's really pretty simple, but really effective. Because when his darkness is gone, you can just wail on him until he's down. Works almost every time. Almost. This is a pretty big area. Getting through the maze was one thing, but just trekking through this entire place would take probably just as long. Thankfully though, now we have a shotgun. Which, why that's lying around a mental institution in a completely unlocked shed? No idea. Probably not the best safety practice. But always be ready for an ambush. Because they are frequent. And right there is a good example of why you don't want to get cornered by these guys. Those 2 hits alone just took off about 1/3 of my health. So if there's ever more than one of them and they kind of get you cornered, literally, they will pretty much stun lock you until you die. Because they attack one after another. So if they kind of hit you twice in a row like that, and they keep doing it, it's game over, and it's a real pain. But maybe the darkness should try a little bit harder, because that wheelbarrow went down in seconds, and this gate isn't gonna last much longer. But at least we're making some progress. And now that that important cam pyramid was taken care of, we can finally move on. There is at least one more collectible coming up, but it's going to help in the last part, so it's definitely something to get. Well, another minute, another ambush. Again, nothing really too big is thrown at you. If you want to use the shotgun to just get rid of them instantly, you can. It's totally cool, but I would not recommend it for what's coming later. And if you kind of notice there's no fence here, you can just kind of walk out onto the rocks. And if you run this way, there's a chest out here with some really useful ammunition. Gonna really have to thank whoever keeps putting these out here. And now that we're back on the path, you can really kind of use up all the shotgun ammo if you want. It's the flare gun ammo and the flares that you're really going to want to hoard, because that'll just keep people off of you. And since the last part of this is more of a time issue, where you just have to survive for as long as possible, it's definitely a better idea to kind of keep people away than to just kill everything as quickly as possible. And with that, we can head towards that area right now. Looks like Barry's waiting for us. Hope he's got some good news.
Al! You're alive!
Let's get out of here. Can you open this gate?
Maybe.
Barry!
Well, I slammed it shut when the nasty showed up, and the key fits kind of loose in the lock, so,
So, Barry went ahead and lost the fucking key. Somehow. You know what, just let me know when something good happens, because then that'll be news. Until then, it's just one roadblock after another. But, I guess for now, we can try to hold these guys off for as long as possible. We can kill them all, and I will, mostly with the help of the flare gun. But that'll just cause more enemies to come in after them. So if you can kind of keep it down to 2 or 3 guys, it won't spawn the next wave, so you won't have to deal with more people. And you can leave this staircase whenever you want. It's just a lot easier to kind of stick near the end when Barry, you know, hopefully ever gets that key, that you can just leave immediately, so you don't have to deal with anyone else. Unless, you know, he keeps finding stupid shit, like quarters and twigs, because that's what we should be looking for. But at least he's working on it, while we work on these guys. But now he's got the key, so let's leave.
Al, please tell me we're headed for the nearest "You're now leaving Bright Falls. Come back soon" sign.
We're going to the Anderson farm.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. You know what? You owe me big time for this. When this is through, if we make it, I don't care what anybody says, I'm done with darkness. You're gonna buy me a tanning bed as a gift, and I'm gonna live in it.